Live streaming is on.
Now we spend all our strength, our effort to ensure that they are higher. That even cost us pay stop. And we cannot even find any one of them in the main session.
Time for
So
breath. Please stop and get ready.
they are
Now
not in
inhale.
consideration.
1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
In fact, this January, I've never seen anyone stepping up, taking responsibility, coordinating. They've done outreach twice. Sandra taught them, I taught them, Ati also taught us. They've not been stepping up with that responsibility. And what is going on? These are the things that they cost us our peace. They cost us peace stop. What is going on? Number one. Number two is that why is it that people are not getting the work done? The question has not been answered. Maybe there should be a voting form where people will express their opinion. Why are they not being able to get started responsibility done? Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to? You need to assess their thought pattern, their perception of why it is that things are not done. Because it's like I see it as if someone has a different view, another one has a different view. And if we are not united in view and thought pattern, we can't move forward. I think we need to address that. That's one of the first steps in getting things forward. Check.
Yes, you want to say something?
Oh, I don't know. I was asking Nani, I mean, I don't know. Martin, he was saying he's going to say what he's working on, but he was
Oh
gone.
yes, yeah.
We
Sorry,
lost
sorry,
him.
I forgot. Okay. I'm working with Ate to ensure we get JP and also again trying to ensure that we address the issue of automated payroll, taking those communications.
What you have been working on?
What
I
is
mean,
it?
for me, I'm mainly looking for self-driven responsibilities. Like, what is it that you can work on your own
Self-driven.
that you're doing, that you're working on?
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
For my self-driven responsibility, that is revenue generation. It has to do
The
with
revenue generation isn't work. That's just a admin. That's just coordination. It's not actual work, right? Does that make sense?
okay, yes.
So I think it's perfectly fine to acknowledge that you don't have any actual work that you're working on your own. You're just doing training and working and meeting with other people who are doing work, right? But somebody needs to be the primary manager and coordinator of the work and taking responsibility for it and moving the work forward. So I think that if you want to work, for example, on you know, the specific assignments under the idea of the executive support for getting you paid, there are specific assignments that you could take on that you could move forward with if you wanted to do those, but then you need to show that you can do them, right? So right now you're still just trying to figure that out. And I think it's more important to acknowledge that you're not doing self-driven work and you don't know exactly what you're doing than to pretend like you're actually doing work. Do you know what I mean, Martins?
No, no, no. Okay, Jay, no, 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 no. You know, like I said last week, you just mentioned the issue of output production slash output performance sheet, and I created it. I
Okay,
thought
but
of
that was
breaking
last week. The question is, what are you
it.
doing moving
This
forward?
week, this week, when this week after yesterday's conversation session, I I take it as a responsibility to ensure that I get to it. I created that executive organizing spreadsheet, and
Okay, but what are you doing with it? What are you gonna do?
for it, I linked it to the note of yesterday. I
We
I
understand that you did a bunch of things in the past, but that's not the question. The question is, what are you doing for the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, right? Like workers need to have clear work moving forward, not just from the past, right? So
yes,
I think it's perfectly fine to, be working and supporting other people in the organization, right? And so you're taking on tasks and doing work to help things out. And so you have done things in the past, right? But you need to focus on and take on clear responsibilities for moving on in the future. Like, I'm not talking about some category of work. Oh yeah, just general executives work. Like, that's not work, right? You need to
Time
have
to
specific
stretch. Please
responsibilities.
stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
You need to have specific responsibilities that you are doing, every day when you come to work.
yes, every day, like I said, um, I want to, grants. I want to focus on grants, and I want to focus on taxes. 1099. I want to focus on that. Is what I intend doing for this week.
Yeah. So, but that would be training, right? You want to get training and you want to schedule. So for the anything related to VA work, you need to do. You need to be organized and get ready for your session with self-driven responsibilities, which is why we're asking you about self-driven responsibilities, but you don't have them. Do you know what a self-driven responsibility is?
Yes. Now, what you think you can do to move the organization forward without being told off?
Without being what?
What you think you can do to move the organization forward without you being told off?
Without what? Without what being told what?
Without anybody telling you to do it. That is self-driven responsibility. What you have in mind that you know you can do. You do the research on it, then you try to implement it and push it forward.
But we're a team. We do everything. We should be doing everything together. So the first thing to do is to understand that part of teamwork is management. So management is work. And I don't think people understand that, right? Second thing is that, for example, training is work and is very, very important. I don't think people seem to understand that. So management and training are two very, very easy, simple things that anyone can do whenever they want to and move forward with it without having to get or even talk to anybody else. Third, we have tons of internal operations work that is very organized with lots of training and clear steps that anyone could be doing and taking on. But people choose to just wait around and have someone else do it. And then as far as the client work goes, you have to choose a specific responsibility and then follow up with it every single week, little by little. And if you haven't even chosen the responsibility and you're not following up with it, then you're never going to learn it. Like, you have to continually follow up on it and make it your own every single week. Right? So with the grants happens to be a VA responsibility. So if you are not interested in finalizing everything for your VA work, then what you need to do is focus on a non-VA client work responsibility. And if you want to work on taxes, then coordinate with Lucy. Coordinate with me, that's fine.
Time to pause.
But don't wait
Please
for
stop.
Lucy.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Get all the links, get organized, figure out what needs to happen, set up the deadlines, whatever you need to do to move the work forward. Don't wait for Lucy to do it.
Okay.
And then keep asking for help and support and scheduling and talking and doing reviews, and just don't stop. And don't wait for anyone. Like it's not that complicated, to get organized and get to work. I mean, I don't know how to make it clearer. And it doesn't need to be perfect either. You just need to attempt to do something and then slowly move it forward.
Okay, no problem. Noted.
Ideally by a deadline. And if we can't meet our deadline, that's also perfectly fine. Guess who controls the deadlines? We do. So we can just vote and say we need another week or another month. The only deadline that's even complicated to change around, well, there's two. There's the taxes that are external deadlines that we don't control. And then the other deadlines that are difficult are the recruitment deadlines. Because once we start recruitment and you have all of the external workers, you have external people who have rights, and it's hard to just push back the deadline because let's say you have 10 active recruits who all want to start getting paid and want to have their bills and their family, and they all want to get in the budget for the first of the month. And then we're all just like, oh, we don't want to do the first of the month anymore. We want to push the deadline back a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That just screws over all of the new recruits because now they're just sitting around waiting another 2 weeks, 3 weeks because we're just purposely firing them and not hiring them for that budget simply because we don't want to do the work. Right? So those are the two deadlines that are the most complicated to extend. Every other deadline we can do whatever the hell we want with as long as we do it before the deadline. If we want to do it after the deadline, then it needs to go to the HR board. Because the HR board needs to hold the organization accountable for not meeting the deadline. So there needs to be a clear reason why you missed the deadline. Right?
Okay.
So we can't just like skip all our deadlines and then after the fact be like, oh, oops, we missed all those deadlines. We're just reversing them and getting rid of them, and it doesn't matter. And then deadlines don't even matter at that point. There's no point to have a deadline if we just don't even have to follow them. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes. Okay. Thank you.
But right now we just don't even have deadlines. We literally have not even a single deadline in the entire organization. Like for me, that is the most pinnacle obvious issue within the organization is that there's just no deadline.
Ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
In the deadlines that we do, put on the client expectations, they're just not realistic and they don't actually apply to anything, right? Like no one's actually doing those. I think it's good that people are talking about them a little bit, but it's not like we have to do them or that we're actually going to follow through with them. Like when we make a pay stop deadline, it's serious because we all agreed to it and we all get consensus on it and it needs to happen.
Okay.
And then we need to make sure there's enough time for it to happen. So we have to think really clearly, right? So in like what I see when people create client expectation dates, it's just to get the budget approved so they can get paid. It's not actually thinking about working. When you agree to a pay stop deadline, you better think about the entire plan, what needs to happen every week to make that deadline and actually do the work. Because otherwise you're just making a deadline to end your pay, like the opposite. So with the silly dates within your client expectations, you're just doing that to get money as fast as possible. Whereas when you create a pay stop deadline, it's the opposite. You actually are creating a deadline to ideally, prevent yourself from ending your pay because you don't want to end your pay. So it's like the opposite. Anyways, we go on and on and on, but the bottom line is that unless people want to actually take action and do something, nothing's going to change.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Next person, please. Next person, please.
Okay. I'll pass. I think for me, I can just say something. The only issue with the deadline that maybe we need to be serious. If somebody now said I'm going to work on that, like we always saying ourselves, I'm going to work on this, and if that person cannot work, that the I think the pay stub should go out to individual now. You have said you're going to work on this, you don't work, or you did not deliver what. So the pay stub should just go to the person who is saying, I'm going to work on it, and it will not be done.
Time to pause. Please stop.
Maybe
Close
we
your
can
eyes.
think that way.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I mean, whatever we can agree to is fine, but I just feel like it's pointless to have a individual pay stop without a organizational pay stop, because otherwise there's no accountability and there's no follow through and there's no oversight, and no one cares. And the same thing is true with payroll. You pay yourself. No one gives a crap about paying anyone else. You know, once the individual gets paid, they just stop working on payroll for anyone else, which is why we have the policy that if you're a payroll worker and you're helping do the payroll, you get paid last. Because over and over again, month after month, we do the payroll, and then there's people who slip through the cracks and no one cares. Because the people who wanted to get paid already got paid, so they don't care about following through with anyone else's pay.
Yes, I know we can have organization pay stop. Then against every responsibility, of course, we will have people say, I'm working on this. Then if you say you're going to work on that, if it is Lucy, let the pay stop goes for Lucy. She'll not get paid because I'm held responsible. I'm telling the team I'm going to do that. That is what I'm thinking about if we come back with the pay stop. Because you find at some point, we said always you are going to work on this. Not everybody is going to be committed to follow through. You one person, you're going to follow until the end. Now, for how long is that gonna happen? We just need to be responsible, like the way we have for goals. Goals always monthly goal before. If you are not done your monthly goal, you go for your pay stop.
Yeah,
Until
but we got rid of pay stops, so we never do monthly goals anymore. That's the whole point of the problem, is that there is no pay stop, so we don't do the work. We used to do monthly goals every single month for years because we had a pay stop. But now we don't do it anymore because no one cares.
no, I don't know what to say. Okay. But then you said the WCG team, the team is for pay stop. If our team does not care, they should then care. For us, you say we don't care. They should care, so that the other
I
team
can't
who
force
don't care.
anyone to care. It's up to Sandra and Martins to want to care, and that's up to them. I can make a proposal right now. Proposal, to have a pay stop every month for goals, and you don't get paid. You can't work anymore if you don't do it.
Break.
And they have to agree to it.
Write down whatever you are about to say.
We can propose the entire functionality plan with 100 separate pay stops. But if Martins and Sandra don't agree to it, it just doesn't matter. I would be happy with one single pay stop to get something started. But again, I can make proposal after proposal, and it's like nobody seems to care and want to deal with it. I shouldn't even be the one proposing or even bringing it up. Sandra and Martins should be the ones doing it, but they're not doing it because they don't care. If they cared, we would already be doing it because it's the policies. I've suggested at least 10 times that we set pay stops for our deadlines. And it's been ignored over and over and over again by specifically Martins and others. So it's just like, I can't do anything about it. We should set another recruitment deadline.
How many recruitment do you have per year? I think we have every half an year in this. Are we doing recruitment daily basis?
Well, we're going towards very soon doing a monthly a mini recruitment for the month, but we're supposed to do 2 full recruitment rounds per year. So we should be starting the new recruitment round for the new year, for the new half year. Every half year we do 1 recruitment round. but we have no deadlines. We have no reason for anyone to even try it. And even when we do it, I usually do 90% of the work myself. You know, it's just like ridiculous, you know. But the point is that right now we're not talking about anything. Like let's do a view up. I don't know how much time we have left. We're already over the hour and a half, so we should do our declarations, and then it's just like our statement. But overall, it's just I feel like the problem is that no one has any interest in doing a pay stop. Otherwise, we'd already be talking about it and voting on it. Because I've already proposed it like dozens and dozens of times over the last multiple months. So I don't know what else to say. But that seems to be what our overall outcome is for today. But I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just an obvious, direct, connection. Right? For me, there's no black. It's like we have no pay stops. We don't do the work. No one cares. So we could just have the pay stops and either do the work or not get paid, and then it's done. And there's nothing to worry about anymore. You know, like it shouldn't be taken for chance. Like it just organizations and businesses, they do not operate like that. There is no business and organization that operates like, oh, we just keep paying people no matter what, and just like it doesn't matter if they do work and they don't have to do deadlines, they don't have to follow policies, and it just doesn't matter, whatever. You know, that's not how any organization in the world functions. You don't do the work by the deadline, you get fired, you're done. That's how organizations work in this world.
We can implement as well here. If I don't do the work, fired. Fuck, it's okay. I go. We can implement.
That's the pay stop. That's what the pay stop is. We don't have ability to fire people because we're a cooperative and everyone's their own owner, right?
So now on this thing being owner and always we have pay stop, we don't have work done. What is it helping? Is it helping anything? Is it helping the organization?
Yes, absolutely. There's no conflict anymore because I don't care if people don't want to do work. I literally don't care at all. If you don't want to do work, I don't care. The conflict is all about paying people to not do the work. That is what I get so upset about. It is unacceptable to be paying people who don't care about getting all the work done, right? If we go through again in terms of our structure, there's a team. The FQN team can basically do whatever, and it's like whatever. The SFC team is required to actually do client work income, right? Then you have the work continuity group team, which are required to do 1.5 hours per day and do pay stops, right? And then you have the policy continuity team, which is required to follow policies and do updates and actually, record and all those kind of things that are required to be done for our real-time policies, right? So those are the teams, and the one team that we don't have structured yet is the Unity team, and the Unity team has no pay until all work gets done. This goes in relationship to the all work plan and the all client plan, right? So the idea of the Unity team, which is the team that I'm working on, the real reason why I never get paid is because we should be doing all of the work. What does that mean? It means when you hire a construction crew to build a house, you don't pay them to only build one wall, to only build one window, to build an entire house with no electricity and no running water. No. Every single part of the house must get done, and it must get done on time to get payment. You simply withhold the money and you don't pay them until the house is livable. If you can't move into the house, it's a pointless waste of money. You're not going to pay someone for years and years and years and years to never finish the house because you can't move into it, because it has no running water, it has no electricity, it has no window, it is no installation. Right?
To start, please get focused on the session.
When you're building a community, when you're building a organization, you have to do all of the work, not just piecemeal. Oh yeah, I'll just do this work, and who cares about the other 90%? It doesn't function. There's no functionality. It's pointless. There is no point to paying anyone to do this work if we're not actually going to build this actual house, the actual building that's actually functional. It's just pointless. To just one wall is pointless. We don't need a wall. A wall doesn't do anything.
Okay, I'm asking about this. I don't know whether it makes sense or not. There is a way if somebody choose now, like decide to do, like, let's say for example, I say no, I'm going to work only on taxes until it deliver. How much are you going to give to that person? Is it supposed to be agreed by organization? So I'm just
I mean,
thinking.
we have a policy that you can get the bonuses for completing the work. That's separate from even the budget. The budget is just to pay people for not completing the work. That's what the budget's for.
I'm just thinking out of the box to avoid this money goes paying people for free firing. If like I decide, I Lucy, I'm just going to do one thing. If I deliver, I get paid. If I don't, and it's fine. The way
But that's
getting
already our
paid.
policy. That's already our policy for you don't even have to be in the budget and you can already get paid to just complete the work. We already have that.
No, it's in a policy, but it's not clear how. If it is taxes, everybody say I'm working on taxes, working on taxes, working on taxes.
Okay, let's just start with taxes. Like there's a huge difference between a pay stop deadline,
Mhm.
right? The deadline to do the minimal for the taxes is what the deadline is. All deadlines, all pay stop deadlines are always the minimum to barely skate by. I don't call that doing work. I call that just meeting the minimal for the deadline. Right? So when we set pay stop deadlines, for me it's a joke. It's saying like, oh, here's the deadline to do the minimal criteria for just doing like the tiny bit to just barely have something. That's the pay stop deadline. Then there's the additional criteria for actually completing the work. Right? For example, we have the deadline to do the most minimal for the budget for the recruitment, but we don't actually complete the recruitment work. There is tons of additional recruitment work that's supposed to be completed that
I
no
don't
one
share
gives
my
a
pen. What
crap
happened to your pen? Don't you come to work with pen?
because they just don't care about the work, right? So when we're talking, I'm going to mute Sandra. There's some background noise for Sandra, I think. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't mute
Time
Sandra.
to pause.
All right, anyways, I'll continue.
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So with taxes, we know what the minimal work is. You do the form, which we typically do incorrectly, but we just do it as quickly as possible. And then we do the virtual envelope and we mail it signed to the government, right? That's the minimal that we do. If we actually wanted to complete the taxes, we would need to review and verify all the transactions, make sure all the categories are right, make sure actually everything is correct, beyond just the minimal to do the virtual envelope. And then we would also be doing the real-time taxes, and we would be doing the verification afterwards, the documentations to make sure every single document is properly documented and publicly accountable for our taxes and online. And then we'd be verifying that the taxes were accepted properly and that everything is correct, right? And triple checking afterwards and moving on to the next ones, right? So, and we would do all of that for the entire year. That would all be happening because we would make sure that all of the taxes are getting completed. And there's no way I can do that myself.
So
Which is why
that
we hire
means,
people.
if somebody decide just to do one thing, it's take years to get that pay, right? If I just like I choose, I don't want to anything to
No,
do
I
with
didn't say
pay.
that. We could do one part of the taxes and get the work done. The point is that nobody wants to do the taxes work to actually complete it. If they wanted to do it, it would get completed. They just don't want to do it. So there's no bonus. But you get paid for your time and your work regardless of whether you complete the work. So I don't know why we're even talking about this.
I was asking in terms of like you said you work for Unity. The goal is to work until that task is done. I mean responsibility.
No, that's not what Unity Team is.
Mm-hmm.
Unity Team is not doing only one thing. It's making sure everything is done. Every single thing. If we have 25 categories of work, we have to do all 25 of them, taxes being one. So there's 24 other categories of work before you get paid a dime.
I was
There's
just
no
giving an
pay
example.
until
Because I was
all
just giving
25
an example. I was giving an example of Unity. Because if somebody decide, we can just feel like
That's not an
because
example of unity. That's just an example of our normal work. What you're talking about is just our normal work. It has nothing to do with unity.
okay.
The unity team, all of the work needs to get done. If all the work is not getting done, then there's no pay.
Okay. What are the specific
But
work that
that
if somebody
doesn't
decides?
require the work to be
Stop and get
completed.
ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
But unity doesn't require all the work to be completed. We can be moving all the work forward on a month-to-month basis and getting all of our pay because we're completing and moving forward all of the work, right? Which is different from what you're talking about, which is just doing one single thing, which is just taxes.
No, I'm just giving an example. If, for example, sometimes it's not good to take a free money. Yes, if I feel like maybe I'm not delivering, I'm wasting organization. I'm not moving organization forward.
You're the
Then
only
you
one delivering, Lucy. It's like exactly the opposite. I don't even know why you talk like that. You're the only one who's delivering. There's nobody else in the entire organization that's doing anything except for you. So I don't know why you're saying that. It doesn't make any sense.
No, sometimes I feel like maybe I'm failing the organization. Then I was thinking, I'm asking if there is a
But
specific
your
thing
only
I can
failure
do.
is that you're just thinking about yourself, Lucy. You need to stop thinking about yourself because you're the only thing that that you actually are supporting the organization, right? You're the only one. And then you're the one who seems to be the first person to think that you're failing, which is like it's like the opposite. The reason why we are failing as an organization is because you need to stop thinking about yourself and start focusing on Martines and Sandra and helping them get functional. If they aren't functional, then you're failing. We're all failing. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if you're only focused on yourself, you're missing the whole point. You get it?
Yes, I'm getting.
We're a failure not because you are the only one producing. We're a failure because Martines is not knowing what his work is, and he's been here for 4 months or whatever, and he's been here for way too long to not have a self-driven responsibility. That is a huge failure. It has nothing to do with you personally. As an organization, we are failing.
Okay. Yeah, I know now.
Sandra's been here for 2 years and has no self-driven responsibility. I don't even know what Sandra's working on at all. She's been here for years and years. It's like it doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand, Jay. What did you say, please?
What are you working on the next couple weeks? That's a self-driven responsibility.
Payroll. At least I can do
Payroll.
that confidently without anybody assisting me. I've been the one doing it.
Great.
So I do have
Okay.
self.
It's better than nothing, but it's still like payroll and
Time.
budget.
What?
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Everyone should be able to do payroll and budget automatically, and then from there, it's like that. If all we can do is payroll and budget, then all we're doing is paying ourselves, and that's it. I mean, we need to be supporting the organization. So for being around for years and years and only doing payroll and budget is concerning.
I'm not doing only payroll, Jay, please. Last
Okay,
time I
so
was
let us know.
last time I was training the new recruit about how TVA. Then the previous
Okay,
like
so
joining Ate and Lucy in Planetary Session is not only payroll I'm doing here, please.
so why are we not doing RTVA? Because we
We are
haven't done any
trying we
RTVA
are getting
sessions
it
over
we are
here.
trying we are getting it fixed. I was the one that updated the January. I'm trying to get teach the new recruit like Kaiser and Ahmed before
Okay, so
he disappeared
are
on
you
how to
against setting a pay stop deadline? We could say 2 RTVA sessions by February, whatever, or it's a pay stop. Are you against that?
okay.
Okay, is in yes or no or what? Okay, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay, means that we can start. I'll prioritize it. That's what I meant.
To prioritize what?
RTVA by February.
But that's not my question. RTVA should already have been prioritized. My question is, are you ready to do a pay stop deadline for RTVA? And that the RTVA sessions need to start happening, or people should be getting paid. Because
Yes,
that's the
I'm.
reason we hired you as a virtual assistant. We're not doing any virtual assistant sessions.
Jay, I'm ready. You said by February. That's the deadline, right?
So can you do a proposal? Can we do a new topic and propose a deadline? And also, I need to get going because I have Spanish team coming up here pretty soon. So if
All
we're
right,
gonna do
thank
any
you.
deadlines, we need to do it. And if you guys
Okay.
can't do a simple deadline, then it's just like you can't do the work, right? So it's like you need to be asking questions or ask for help and say, I can't do a deadline. I don't know how to do a deadline proposal, and so someone needs to do it for me. Otherwise, we're just sitting here and nothing's happening, right? So you guys need to communicate. If you guys can do the deadline, maybe we should do a new topic and get clear on a deadline. And then we should do the proposal. We should vote on it. If you're not capable of doing that, then you can need to ask questions so that we can train you, or you need to just ask for someone else to do it for you. This is the work. This is the training.
Time to stretch. Please
Martins?
stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
Martins? Martins is gone? All right. So anyways, maybe we should schedule a
He's
separate
still
main
here. He's
session.
on mute.
Yeah, he's gone.
Happiness
So
is on mute.
maybe we should schedule a separate session or a separate main session where we actually start focusing on proposals. Or we can do it on the voting form. If people want to just do it asynchronously, we can propose the deadlines and then we can vote on them. So what do you guys want to do? Sandra, Martine, so what do you want to do for the deadlines? You guys have deadlines or what?
Jay, when is the RTVA deadline coming? You mentioned February.
It will come when we get agreement on it. You need to do the work. This is the work. Do you understand, Sandra? If you're sitting around waiting for me to tell you when the deadline is, you're not doing the work. Do you understand? You can't
Yes.
wait for me. The whole problem is you guys sit around doing nothing and waiting for someone to tell you what to do. That no one's going to tell you what to do. You have to make the proposal and set the deadline yourself and then get agreement on it. That's the work. And if you're unwilling to do that, you shouldn't be here. Martins, do you understand?
Yes,
Like, I'm going to try everything I can not to set the deadline. You guys need to set the deadlines. That's the work. And if you can't set the deadline, you can't make a proposal, then I'm saying for the third time now, then ask for help. Say, I don't know how to set a deadline.
Jay, we didn't say we don't know how to set a deadline. I only asked a very simple question. I didn't say I can't do the work, please.
Okay, so what's the question?
I said, when is the deadline coming? I didn't know we are supposed to.
There is no deadline. Stop asking that.
Then I'm doing it already.
Again. There's no deadline. No agreement on any deadline. No deadline. There's no deadline because we have no agreement.
You
Agreement.
need
There's no deadline.
proposal. You just do the proposal. You set the deadline that you are feeling. Then we vote.
No problem. No problem.
I think that is what you want. Jay is asking.
Martins?
Yeah. At the point in time, I slept off, not until you called my name twice. So I just woke up now.
Right. So I think out, and then we should schedule a time or another emergency session or a buddy team session, on Saturday where we can prioritize getting some deadlines set up and do a voting form or whatever.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
This is not particularly complicated. It's just a matter of actually prioritizing doing the work. But right now, it doesn't look like a good time to do it. So can we just check out and move on? Because the people are just falling asleep and it's just silence. I mean, it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's night here, like 12 midnight here in Nigeria. So we need to go and sleep.
Yeah, I'm fine. We need to to get going. I have to go and do the Spanish team here soon, so I'm ready to check out. It's fine. Like I've been
But
waiting for
remember,
over a
Jay,
year to get
but remember,
pay stop
Jay,
deadlines.
I started the
And the only
deadline.
pay stop
Jay,
deadlines we've had for a year
Jay,
are
Jay,
the recruitment and the automated communication. So we've only had 2
Jay,
for the
Jay,
entire
as
year.
part of the deadline that is nearing towards that is coming very soon is the automated publicly searchable communication that was
That's
set
not
for
a pay
January
stop
20.
deadline. That is not a pay stop step that there's not a pay stop deadline that was ever agreed upon by the organization.
Okay, no problem. I just so I will
So
put the proposal for emergency session to fix the deadline for
That's
Saturday.
it.
it doesn't even have to be an emergency session. It can just be a normal buddy team session. We can set deadlines. You do not need emergency any session to set a deadline.
Okay,
You
good, got
understand?
it.
It's very important that
Got
we
it, got
understand
it.
the policies. It's your responsibility to set deadlines and to build agreement on them. And you don't need anything special to do that. You just do the work. It's literally the work. That's all it is.
Okay, okay, I want to ask
Like,
a question. Okay,
organizations and businesses don't function without deadlines. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Martins?
yes. I want to know what policy do we have as an organization if a worker does not communicate and does not show up for work and the worker is on a budget? What policy do we have to address that issue?
If they're on work continuity group and they're on policy continuity group, they get 4 days. So after
For
4
the
days, they're removed. They're deactivated after 3 or 4 days, and then they're removed from the budget for 4 or 5 days
so what
of
if they
not
come?
communicating.
Oh, sorry. What if they come? Oh, sorry, something happened. Can you please take me back? Will they be allowed to enter that new month or next new month?
Once someone has been deactivated, they are required to be approved by the organization to be reactivated. So the agreement has to happen before they can be reactivated and start working again. In relationship to the budget, our budget is very, very clear. As long as you have an updated POP that's been verified.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together, 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
As long as you have a updated verified POP, you are required to be included in at least one budget option, right? And that can also be a deactivated worker. You can be deactivated or substitute in a budget, official budget. And that budget needs to be approved by the HR board. So the HR board has the final decision of firing or not hiring people based on the budget options that are created. That make
Mm,
sense?
yes, if you can remember yesterday when I was talking about getting day paid is extremely complicated. It's as if I was speaking, I don't know what I was saying. Now, I was about settling down, if not for the travel that I went for today, traveling down on what to do to ensure that I did get paid. Now, another deadline is coming up. I
What
can't
is this
manage
other
it.
deadline that's coming up? What is
You you said we should have a body
that?
team whereby we set deadlines
Okay,
and
but we
let
don't
people
have that set
know.
up yet. There's no deadline yet for that.
We are going to have a body team, then we will set it up. Then it will
Yeah,
affect my participation in taking up that responsibility. Remember, this organization is not
exactly.
something that we do full
That's
time.
the whole point.
So
Once the deadline is
managing
set,
time,
you have to do the
managing
work.
resources, managing all these things, sometimes it is conflicting. Sometimes we need to prioritize one against another. Sometimes we need to
Yes,
sacrifice one for another. So these are the
absolutely.
things that affect sometimes 100% functionality.
Yeah, and sometimes we end up with too many pay stop deadlines. We have too many deadlines and it's too much and we have to change them and we have to get rid of them, right? So it's like, okay, oh my God, we have 10 pay stops next month. That's too many deadlines. Let's cut it down to 5. Let's take the top 5 priorities and get rid of the other 5, right? So it's basically about
Okay.
making sure there's agreement and that we're coordinating and managing our deadlines properly, right? But what you're
Okay.
saying is exactly what I'm saying, that the moment you create the pay stop deadline is the moment people actually get to work, because you literally just said it. You're like, oh, we're about to make this deadline. I'm going to become a manager and I'm going to start managing this deadline. Bam. What do you know? That's exactly what I've been trying to wait for you to say the entire session. And you finally said it in the relationship to the pay stop deadline. Because as soon as we have the deadline, you get it. You're like, oh, I need to manage this deadline. That's the entire point of doing the work. That is the
Time to
work.
pause.
The deadline
Please
is
stop.
the work.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Like, everybody needs deadlines. That's how they
Okay.
get. When you have a new recruit who comes in the organization, you hire a new worker and you tell them, oh yeah, there's no deadlines, there's nothing, who knows what, just do something. They don't know what to do. They don't have any idea what's going on. You're like, oh, we have this deadline. You have 3 weeks to get this done, or you don't get paid anymore. They're like, oh, I need to get to work on this. I know what I need to do. I need to do work. Otherwise, I'm not getting paid anymore. And then they can get exempt from the deadline if they want to, because we
Okay.
have exemptions for all new hires, but they need to get to work. And it's clear what the
Okay.
work is. It's clear how to manage it, because if we don't manage it and get organized and do the work by the deadline, then no one gets paid. Right? That's how we've always functioned. It's how all the work has gotten done in this organization for years and years and years, except for this tiny little bit of taxes work that Lucy does. So for whatever reason,
Okay.
Lucy has found this new way of working, that she got some taxes work done. Did she do all the taxes? No, but she did the majority of the taxes for last year. So it's very impressive, but if you're able to do the work by the deadline, then a pay stop deadline should not be of concern, because you're already doing the work.
Okay. Oh, let me ask this question. This simple question. Now we should have a body session whereby we choose some deadlines with pay stop, right? They will present it to the organization to vote on them, right?
Yeah, everything needs to be officially verified and voted on, but it's once you set the deadline, as long as there's no objections to it, it will become official.
Okay, good. So if we are able to pick 2 or 3 deadlines and we propose it to the organization and there is no objection against it, then we are good, right?
Correct. Yes. And so once we
Simple.
have multiple deadlines and we're trying to coordinate our deadlines, we call that tactical operations. So the tactical operations is an administrative component. I don't remember exactly what line number it is, but it's part
That is
of our coordination of all of our deadlines.
105. 105. That's 105.
105.
I do.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
number
I do
105 is
105.
our tactical coordination of all of our deadlines and our tactical operations. And that's like one of the key things
Okay.
missing in our model. Right? We've always had clear deadlines for years and years and years, until everything fell apart last year, and everything has not been functional since.
Okay, fine. Good.
Were we perfectly functional before? No, we were not perfectly functional, but we were at least had the most basic level of functionality that I never thought would disappear, but it did, and it's disappeared for
Time
an
to
entire
take
year
a
now.
break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
And the only examples of pay stop deadlines that we've had this year are for the automated communications, which you did and took care of. And then the other one was
Recruitment.
the recruitment. Yeah. And recruitment we've never done without a deadline. Literally, recruitment has never, ever happened. Ever. Not a single time without a pay stop deadline. Because otherwise it's just me doing 100% of it by myself. No one does anything.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you. One
Another
more thing
example
that
of a deadline that's never happened is budget. The budget has never, ever happened, ever in the history of this organization, on time without actually people not getting paid. So it's not technically a pay stop deadline, it's a budget deadline. Because if you don't have the budget at the beginning of the month, then there's no budget and there's no agreement to pay anybody, so no one gets paid. So it's not technically a pay stop deadline, it's a budget deadline, because with no budget there is no pay. It's pre-pay. The budget comes
okay.
before the pay. So you can't stop payment that doesn't even exist yet.
Okay.
So
Okay.
before we had agreement on the budget deadline, we never did. We never had a budget. No one ever did a budget. We did one budget and then nothing. That for 6 months, 8 months, nothing. So
Okay.
so again, the only way that we've ever had any work done in this organization is pay stop deadlines, and it's been that way for 4 years.
Okay.
And except for this little bit that Lucy did in relationship to the taxes, and she didn't even do all the taxes. So it's basically like, in terms of evaluating the year, I don't see other options. Like, it just doesn't make sense to, and even so, whether or not Ate or Lucy or Mamoon want to do pay stops is irrelevant. Sandra Martins, myself, um, Jeremy Kaiser, and if you don't want to do pay stop deadlines, you need to immediately quit and join SFC team or FQN team. That's the policy. You're not allowed to be in work continuity group or policy continuity team if you're not willing to do the deadlines, period. And that's why I'm so upset. You get it?
Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it.
I don't
Yes.
care. If you
Thank
don't want to do deadlines, I don't care. Just quit. If you don't want to do deadlines, I literally don't care. Quit, join FQN or SFC, but don't be in work continuity group or policy continuity team if you don't want to do deadlines and pay stop deadlines, because that's a requirement in our agreements.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. At least for now, we are still in WCG and we'll try to ensure to keep to the policies that bind working in WCG.
But don't tell me you're going to follow the policies. Just follow them.
That's just it. I'll follow it. That's what I'm saying. I'll follow it.
Well, I don't want to hear you say you're going to follow it. Just do it. Just do the
Okay.
work.
I'll do it.
Yeah, just do it. So do we want to check out or what? Or do wrap up or
Before we
something?
check
Because
out, please before we check out, why is I don't know what is happening with HR voting no on our payroll. We did their separate payroll. They voted no. For us, they voted yes for our home payroll. I don't know why. Because this will affect us getting
I
paid.
really need that the same issue to be addressed. Actually,
I'm very angry with Abubakar. He said he
And he's
will
not even
go
here. He
during the
just
main
left without
session.
even saying anything.
He said he will make sure as in he will address the issue during this main session. Where is he now? He's not even
we have
available
a
here.
problem with our HR. That's the facts and the truth. Since we started we reinstated the organization, they have never come during even one main session to us. They're not even concerned about the workers. I don't understand even 10% of paying them for what.
It's a serious
so
issue that we
uh,
need to.
I so
You
I
do,
am
Jay,
more.
Jay, sorry, before you speak on this, let me quickly say this. We are in a democratic settings. If you don't want a president or a leader in a position of authority, they pass two-third majority of votes and they push them out. If these HR board members are not doing what they are
It's
supposed to
even
do,
only Abubakar that is working.
we-
Alice
I
self, is
don't
she
know
even working
because
at all?
we don't need to have I don't know why they are not doing what they are supposed to do. I think we have the onions on us to vote them out. I don't know, and get another HR members to take the position because I don't know why they will just pass a comment. They will just state a vote without passing a comment or doing it
They
or without
just
being clear enough. It is
And
unacceptable
Thur,
anyway.
time to
And it
start.
is unsafe.
Please get focused on the session.
sometime
And
Baba
I
was
think
asking this man.
and I think Jay is somehow siding them or being lenient on them.
This is what I was asking them before Jay goes. I was asking, what is the work of HR board? We value them, we put them actually, even the coming proposal, we usually pay HR board number one. There is no day we pay ourselves before HR board. I'm working on payroll. I'm always the last person getting paid. Yeah,
Why will he even vote no on our proposal and still not show up? That's my concern. That is what is getting me pissed here.
you know the issue is, Sandra, it's not only on your budget, on your payroll. Even our payroll is going to hang until they agree. You know, Abubakar asking me to put him 80%. Do I have a authority to reduce Alice hours without team agreement? And they should come together. They should have an agreement on what we should agree on.
Is
Because
Alice even working at all? Because
they are all
Jay
the
wants
same,
to talk.
because no one is
Jay
no
wants
one
to
is
talk.
even coming to the session. This is the only yesterday Abubakar saw in the session. They usually change yes, no, yes, no
Jay, you
comment.
can talk. You can talk.
All right. There's a lot of details and issues that need to be addressed here. There's a whole bunch of things I was trying to address for a little while as well, that are being ignored. But what makes me even more upset than the issues with the HR board is that we just don't follow policies. Topics. We don't care about anything. Like this is just an example of the inability for us to be functional and do any work whatsoever. If we sit here on the board, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. Right? There's only one way that anything's going to happen. We need to stick to time. We need to get agreed on a topic. We have to have a clear desired outcome, and we get focused on addressing it and taking notes and being organized. Then it'll get addressed. Otherwise, it's just a waste of my time. Not taking it seriously.
Okay, let me make a topic so that we can have an agreement together, so the payrolls can move forward, because no payroll will move forward without having clarity on. Okay, anyway, speak, Jay.
Can I finish?
Yes. Continue.
Prioritize this issue at the beginning of the session with Abu Bakar. You chose not to. Instead, you chose to prioritize the contentious session for the open discussion.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And that's what we did, and that's what happened. So to bring this up at the end of the session after 2.5 hours, when I have to go do the Spanish session, this is unprofessional. It's not functional. It's not how anything's supposed to go, right? If this was a priority, it should have been brought up at the beginning of the session. Abu Bakar was here to address it. He should have prioritized it, and other people should have prioritized it, but we didn't. And so now to complain about it now that we didn't address it, it's fault, period. And we're not being professional by not creating a topic to address it. This is not going to help us anyway. We're in an open discussion. We're off topic. We're doing policy training. So I'm going to start doing policy training on this. Topic 0.
Jay,
Let
okay,
me
topic Jay.
check out.
I did not hear that part very well. But what I heard you said was that you said that we didn't bring it up early and you were not professional about it. First, on
We're
the issue
breaking
of
up
this
a dozen
matter,
policies right now. A dozen policies are being broken right now.
then what should we do? Should we just
If we care about this issue, we will get agreement on a topic. Otherwise, I want to move on because this is not. This is going to do nothing for us to sit here and argue and say a bunch of things about Abu Bakar that we're going to regret. Because I don't like what's being said. I don't even want to respond to it because it's not even professional, and we don't even have a topic.
Okay, can we have a topic, please?
yes,
But we all
yes, I think I stated it again. Again, on focus and topic.
Huh?
Yeah, focus and topic. HR payroll review issue.
I don't know if Jay still have time anyway. Is it a
I don't
proper
have
time?
time, but I'll do whatever we need to do. I can just push back and tell the the Spanish team that can't make it on time again for like the third or fourth time, but whatever.
Will not take time. I'm sure. I'm going just to put
We
the
always
payroll.
follow our time.
Uh, I'm going to make sure we are not taking time. Is reviewing? Is it review HR board? I don't know. Was it reviewing or what, Martin? Please, Sandra. What are we doing? Reviewing or?
Pay,
Time for
payroll
please
payroll
stop
review for
if you're
HR
ready.
board.
Now inhale. One,
Mm.
two,
Can we
three.
even
Exhale.
achieve it
One,
when they are
two.
not here to
Pause.
speak?
Inhale together.
HR
That's
One,
payroll review.
two,
They are not
three.
here to talk.
Relax.
And he's voting no. Which type of rubbish is this? Don't like this at all.
But he was here, and you guys didn't prioritize it. Why do you not understand that? He was here.
They,
You had the
I
opportunity to
think
prioritize it. You didn't.
it should be one at a time. We are already having open discussion of